name's Owen, and I'm the Dungeon Master of our Return of the Giants 5th edition homebrew campaign.
Hi, I'm Ali. I'm playing Lyra, the Eladrin Spore Druid, and she is just a little bit obsessed with mushrooms.
Hi, my name's Simon. I'm playing the character of Ember. I'm a wildfire druid who's on a quest to be the very best there ever was.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I play Harry Harrington, the Harrengon, the roguish merchant with the heart of gold.
My name is Christian. I'm playing Bartholomew, the romantic dancing Owlin, Paladin of devotion.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I'll be playing Niles Silverwind, the Owlin, Way of the Sympathy Monk.
Hey guys, I'm Jared. I play the character of Threign, the boisterous frost giant, the Goliath, path of the giant Barbarian.
Hello there, lovely listener. This is just a warning to let you know that this episode of Return of the Giants may contain adult language or adult themes. Hello! Hello,
everyone.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to the Lost Archives. We are playing Return of the Giants, the premier 5th edition homebrew campaign, and we are ready. We are excited to be here. So excited that Christian's camera just failed. That's how excited he is to be here. We are going to be jumping into the session very, very shortly. There's a little bit of a recap to catch us up from last week. But before we do, I've got a couple of announcements to share. The first one is that we do have Jared here with us. His camera's just not working, which we know from Monday. But Jared is here. You will hear his gorgeous voice. Simon and Matt are on their way. They're just both being caught up a little bit, running a touch late. So they'll be here super, super soon. And that's everyone. We've got the whole cast here tonight. We're just running a touch later with everything. In terms of announcements, I have an unfun announcement to share. And for those of you who are here for Curse of Strahd, you'll already know this. But there's a conference coming up that I haven't been able to escape. And it is going to unfortunately coincide with a couple of our sessions. The Wednesday, the 24th, so not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after, I won't be able to run the session for Return of the Giants or for Avatar. So both the Wednesday and the Thursday. I'm really sorry about that. There's nothing I can do to get out of it. So I will be away for that session. So we won't have anything on that Wednesday the 24th or Thursday the 25th. To make it up to you, I am currently recording a whole bunch of episodes of The Wandering Village and Synergy. They will be dropping on YouTube. I obviously won't be able to do them live, otherwise I'd be able to do D&D. But for those of you who check out the YouTube channel and are watching us on YouTube, you will be able to catch those episodes, which will be going live when we normally would have the episodes of Return of the Giants or Legacy of Kyoshi go live. So the Friday and then the Monday. So I'm doing my very, very best to make sure that we have good entertainment for you in my absence. The good news is I thought I wasn't going to be able to do a Wednesday in August, but I've actually had a brief moment of clarity, and I think it's only this Wednesday the 24th we're going to miss. We will miss an Avatar session in August, unfortunately, but we will definitely have, at this stage, fingers crossed, only one missed session of Return of the Giants. So I guess there's some fun news mixed in there. I think it was a bit more doom and gloom on the Monday, but it's all looking a bit better now. In terms of other fun things to share, I don't think there's much else I've got to share, unless anyone else has got anything really fun to jump into. I think we'll do our recaps and... No.
Yeah, let's jump in.
Sweet. Let's do the recap and get us all up to speed, because we had a bit of a spicy episode last week, so I'll make sure we are all back in. The Tempest Adventuring Guild, a name now legendary across the lands of Nostea, has formed a brand new team. Lyra, Niles, Harry, Ember, Threign, and newcomer Bartholomew are exploring the vast caverns of the Underdark. Drawn below by rumours of stone giants taking over territory, it has come to light that the Duergar are providing the stone giants with slaves as part of a massive mining operation. The team are currently assisting the gnomes of Blindenstone, the last city stronghold of the Sverneblin. After discovering the city seemingly abandoned, the main gates broken open and debris scattered across the streets, the team climbed the central tower looking for signs of life. When Niles went for a little flyby, he found it, in the form of an enormous draconic monstrosity called a Behir. Only just able to escape, the team fled deeper into the tunnels, the sounds of destruction echoing behind them. With time of the essence to save Harry, who had been captured by Drow, the team were forced to leave Blindenstone behind, promising the Deep Gnomes to return shortly and help them locate their friends and family. With Harry now rescued, the time has come to fulfill that promise. After taking a few hours to resupply and plan on how to take on the Behir, the Society of Brilliance headquarters, the team are now back in Blindenstone. With Gobbledy having returned to the city a few hours earlier, the team have accompanied Noose and Gook to try and save their friend. Riding the rails back into the hidden railway station, Lyra and Niles spotted signs of life, perhaps indicating some of the residents of Blindenstone had escaped through the railway. Continuing on, the team climbed part way up the tower, finding it far more damaged since their visit only a day earlier. Moving quietly, sensors tuned in to every sound and movement, the team slowly made their way up to the second floor, observing an enormous hole now smashed in through the wall. Just in time, the team noticed a flash of blue scales near the hole, a sign the Behir may be waiting for them, ready to ambush. Ember decided to send out Flicker as part bait and part sacrifice, getting him to hold a vial of poison he had been gifted by Sylvie. This proved to be a brilliant move. The second Flicker emerged from the tower, the Behir immediately attacked, biting down on Flicker and accidentally ingesting the poison. With the Behir howling in pain, the team launched into an attack. Threign and Bart focused on keeping the Behir locked down, while Ember, Harry, and Niles began to focus on attacks. Bart's plan to keep the Behir prone started strong. A combination of Niles' stunning strikes and Bart's command spell prevented the Behir from escaping to the ceiling to unleash its lightning breath upon the party. However, combat took a real turn when Lyra unleashed her nature magic, summoning 8 giant snakes which began constricting the Behir. This gave Threign all the encouragement he needed, unleashing his frost fury upon the stunned and prone monstrosity. Surrounded and pinned, the Behir was forced to use its lightning as a shroud around it, which did take out a number of the snakes, but also drew the attention of some opportunistic Ettercaps which had been sticking to the outskirts of the battlefield. With the Ettercaps showing no real preference for attacking the party or the Behir, the team were forced to split their focus. The onslaught proved too much for the Behir, however, Threign finally decapitating it and kicking the now writhing body aside. With the living Ettercaps scared back by this, the team were free to search the abandoned stronghold for Gobbledy and clues as to what had happened to the rest of the Deep Gnomes. Locating the injured gnome hiding out in the blacksmith shop, the team learnt he had seen signs that some of the gnomes had escaped. We left off last session as Lyra shared her suspicions with the group that the stronghold had been raided prior to the Behir's arrival, likely by a force made up of Duergar and stone giants. And the last thing that we saw at the end of the session previously, as Threign, his voice booming across the cavern, echoing through the now empty stone city, calling out for any surviving Sverniblin to emerge to reunite with their friends Gobbledygook and Noose. We left off as a door down along one of the main roads towards the east slowly opened, revealing a small, grey-skinned figure emerging from the shadows within. And that is where we left off last session. We jump straight back in as you all have reunited outside the foot of the enormous tower rising above the center of the stronghold. The corpse of the Behir no longer moving, now completely still. The head sitting on the stone steps. I believe Ember was preparing to cast Speak with Dead. You can see Ember sort of getting the head into position, getting it all tidied up. Niles is sort of assisting him at this stage as well, occasionally looking around for signs of any danger, keeping an eye on the Ettercaps, which still haven't left the city, still sticking to the shadows around the edge of the tower. But Lyra, Harry, Bart, and Threign, as you turn around, Threign having boomed out this message to the city, you see these 2 figures emerge from inside one of the stone houses.
We've seen a lot of damage here.
Oh yeah.
And so with some very high checks before, didn't notice anyone. Just in that same instinctual worry that maybe these are passed on Swiftnerblin, Bart's just going to instinctively send off another Divine Sense straight away, just before we go wandering over to a bunch of civilians that managed to survive in a battlefield from, as far as we're aware, Duergar giants, then survived a Behir that then searched around the city for anything living, and then survived the scavengers of things as dangerous as an Ettercap. I want to make sure that we're not about to walk into a bunch of ghosts that are going to be like, why did we die?
Yeah.
So,
why didn't you save us? Come play with us, Bart, forever.
Yeah.
So just going to send out a Divine Sense around the Behir's corpse behind me, and then the Swiftnoblin in front.
as the pulse of radiant
Harry
energy.
would,
Oh, yeah. You go. You go, Harry. Yep.
Harry would also just like to go to higher ground and also just like watch, not just focus on these two, but anything else that's like around or coming, or if it's like, like when there's fish underwater where they have the light in front of them and the actual body of the fish is behind.
Talking about an anglerfish, the distraction.
Yes.
Dangling at the front. Yeah, I'm with you.
He's yeah.
Do you want a really fun fact about the anglerfish that's going to disturb you?
I would love the yes.
So because the deep sea, it's very hard to find other creatures, especially those of your own species. When a male anglerfish and a female anglerfish, and this is a couple of different species within the anglerfish family, when they meet each other, the male latches onto the female and then is slowly absorbed into her skin so that he can permanently provide fertilization for her eggs, because the chances of other anglerfish meeting each other so low. They've evolved this method where he gets stuck on. Yeah, and he becomes, his blood supply mixes with hers and he gets locked in.
So does he just become like a baby factory for her?
Yeah, exactly. Because female anglerfish are 30 times larger than the male anglerfish. Male anglerfish are tiny. Just a fun fact for you.
So they start so low.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Harry, it's so easy for you to get to high ground. I want that to haunt your nightmares. Harry, it's so easy to get to high ground. This section of the tower that you'd walked up has partially collapsed. Obviously, that's how the hole was created. You can easily scamper up, because you're already on the rooftops, I think was where we'd last left you off. As you scamper up to the... as you scamper up to the rooftop, throwing a chunk of Behir for the Edicaps, which were getting a bit too close for you. As you throw the chunk of Edicap out, throw the chunk of Behir to attract the Edicaps. Do you want to make me a perception or investigation check? Your choice.
I would love to.
But as you let out this pulse of divine sense, this divine energy that radiates within you, almost like an echolocation, as you feel the pulse get to the edge and then ping back again, you sense no triggers, nothing at all. No presence of any noxious evil or powerful. Actually, that's not quite true. You would register, but powerful good? Nah. This group are chaotic good. They're mostly good. It's medium good. You get a very a very faint wash of we try our best coming back.
Yeah.
But no celestials, fiends, or undead within the range. Yeah.
No problem. It was a very wholesome moment at the end of the last session anyway, finding survivors after all the destruction and death. So I'll keep that to how it is, and while Threign and the others head over to them, I just would like to duck away to head over to Grook and see if we can at least maybe scrape together the black powder that Grook was going to light.
Yeah. Gook was so ready to get a few satchels of black powder ready, and unfortunately, you guys really cleaned up the Behir quicker than Gook could go and get the black powder, which is amazing.
I also feel bad for her. She's the one that helped me with my amulet and everything, so yeah, I'll head over to her.
Well, it's brutal too, because that was also the fastest she could have got the black powder, because she rolled a natural 20 for her lockpicking check to get into the black powder reserves. So it's it was quicker.
She hasn't seen my necklace either, so I would like to show her. But yeah, I'll pop over to there while the others find the refugees.
Yes, as that pulse of energy comes out and then moves back again. Yeah, don't sense anything problematic. Harry, perception of 9.
Yes, natural 2 on the dice.
Harry, it's tough. I mean, your attention is still very much drawn to the Edicaps, the prey animal within you, the tiny rabbit that lives in your soul. Doesn't like carnivores stalking the edge of the light around the tower, and no matter how much you try and focus on other things, your little ears, your little eyes dart back to the Edicaps, and you find it very hard to concentrate on anything else apart from them. You sense no other danger. You see, hear nothing else.
Harry gives the team a thumbs up.
Fantastic.
From the shadows that no one can see.
Yeah, exactly. You just see rabbit ears and a third a thumb.
I mean, you're on a roof and no one's looking at you, so you just thumbs upping yourself.
I think if she can, with the face step, Lyra might sort of try and take sort of a point on this one, just sort of feeling the apprehension from the other guys in the team. She's all right, I'll go make sure if it tries to eat me or whatever, I'll teleport 30 feet that way. But hello? And she's just sort of gonna casually walk up and sort of like, I'm not a threat, like, hey, you should be safe as far as we're aware.
As you peek around and begin walking towards them, I'd say probably in this case it'll be Noose who comes with you then, because if Gook's hanging out near the Black Powder Reserves with Bartholomew, Gobbledy's a little bit injured. You guys did do a good job healing him, but he's not going to be running around anywhere very, very soon. So I'd say Noose accompanies you then. As you begin walking up towards the gnomes, the two Sverniblin who have just emerged from inside this stone house, Noose walking alongside you calls out, "It's okay. These are our friends. They've proven themselves very, very helpful. They only want to make sure we're safe. Who is it? Come into the light. I can't see your faces." And as these two gnomes step up, you see Lyra. If they were humans, I'd say they'd look middle-aged. Grey skin, both bald. A lot of the feature of the Sverniblin, a lot of them seem to be very, very bald. There's very little hair on them at all. But you can see a man and a woman dressed in fairly sturdy-looking layered clothing, and it almost has what looks like on the outside these crossing V's forming like this, almost like a large pattern, a purple V stretching from the right to the left shoulder, at the bottom of the V touching the navel and moving back up again. This so almost like a very clear symbology. And as they emerge and begin to sort of walk over, looking very much suspicious, ready to run at a moment's notice, you can see, Lyra, that they both have sustained some injuries. You can see that the male Sverniblin has a large gash across his forehead. It is now dried. You can see that there's been an attempt to clean it up, but there's dried blood stretching down along the side of his face, partially gluing the edge of his eyelid together as well. And I definitely did not just poke myself in the eye demonstrating that. Sorry, you go.
I was just going to say, can I bend down to Noose and just sort of be like, do you recognize them? Like they're part or anyone you know?
My eyesight's not what it was, but I think I do, yes. The woman, I definitely recognize the woman. Yudi, I think her name is. Yudi!
He calls out, just deciding that if that's her name, must be close enough, right? And as he calls out her name, you watch as she looks up, relief washing over her face. At this point, you notice, Lyra, that the gnomes have very much been fixed. Their attention had been fixed on the enormous 11-foot tall frost giant Goliath, Threign, standing there, ice up around his body, crackling through his beard, eyes glowing with this blue light. Threign draws the eye when he's in his giant form, very much so. And as they sort of focus down and see you watch as the woman. Yudi,
I'll probably be out of my giant form, by the way.
Oh, perfect. As you shrink back down, that would then draw the eye, watching you shrink from a giant form.
My rage ended a fair bit while back.
Oh, true. That's right. You were just using.
I was moping around with Niles.
That's right. You were using thaumaturgy to make your voice boom.
Yes.
In that case, then, yeah, yep. It's just the echoes of that as they watch Threign and then see you. Because you're pretty short too, Lyra. You're not that much taller than a gnome. As they begin moving forwards towards you, Yudi reaches out a hand and grabs Noose basically by his forearm and then pulls him into a big hug. The male Sverniblin behind her, sort of like nodding along and watching, but keeping a little bit of distance.
If she can, could Lyra just sort of put like a sort of, just very slowly sort of put like a hand on his shoulder and cast Cure Wounds on him to fix up that big gash on the forehead?
It looks like it has already been mostly treated. It's just you can see signs that they were injured. The blood's dried, but you can see someone's cleaned it and done a pretty good job sealing it up a little bit.
All right, if it's all right, then I'll keep them just in case.
You don't need to spend the spell slot. That doesn't look like he's in any danger. He's not like it's not actively bleeding, and there's not like grey matter slowly coming out. It looks like it's been looked after. But yeah, as they approach you, you look down and you see Noose. A single tear in his old wizened eye, sort of like crackling down the wrinkles around his face as he smiles and goes,
I can't believe you're still here. What? How are you both okay? I thought everyone was gone. No. We are both still here. We hid in the old storm cellar when the earthquakes used to come through. We got in time. Noose, it was awful. They took everyone. Everyone who came through, they grabbed them. It was an army of Durga, and there were giants with them, Noose. 4 of them. enormous and grey skin like the Durga themselves. They melted through the rock like it was some sort of, like it was water.
You see Noose sort of pull her back and look her in the eyes.
Aye, well, we knew that the giants were working with the Durgar. I had hoped that I could come and warn you before something happened to Blindenstone. She nods slowly. Where have you been, Noose? We've been missing your guidance. It's not the same without your wisdom. You were so good at providing advice and counsel to the High One, and then when you left, I didn't leave by choice, lass. I was out checking up on two of my friends, and they got me. They've had me in their clutches now for a number of weeks before I was able to escape. And this is Lyra. Sorry, Lyra. I should have introduced you properly, Lyra. This is Yudi and Teglin.
He watches the male Svenibund just nods, not saying anything at this point.
Good to see you here.
Yes, they've been helping me,
Yudi. This is the rest of the party, by the way. Sorry. And she's just gonna, sort of introduce everyone as like, have no fear. The Behir that also came through afterwards is also taken care of.
You watch, as you mentioned the Behir and point to it, you watch as Teglin, the man, suddenly turns away, almost trying to like move something away from his eyes or face. It looks like something's come upon him, something distracting, just for a moment. He doesn't seem to meet your gaze for a moment.
Could I maybe do like an insight check or something, just to sort of see, is it sadness over like he maybe knew this Behir, or is it just sort of
it's his best friend, Barry the Behir.
Maybe he has a best friend Behir.
He might have a best friend Behir. Yeah, absolutely.
How Training Dragon style.
Absolutely. Yeah, insight. You watch as he goes over and just places a sad hand on the decapitated head, just on the nose. 13, Lyra. He's avoiding looking at the Behir, a mixture of grief and anger welling up inside of him. You can see that he doesn't even want to look at it. Maybe something recent happened. Maybe he lost someone to the Behir. It's not the Behir itself. Yeah.
Yeah, no, okay, so
maybe they just recently fell in love.
Yeah, the tender
It was helping
gentleness.
rebuild the city, defending it.
You have no idea how expensive Behirs are to hire per day.
Oh, we just saved you some money.
That's her.
No, if that was their guard dog, you've not saved them some money. It's as you see that, Lyra, you get the sense something's there, something up. Someone he lost, maybe.
She's not quite sure how to react.
No, that's fair enough. No, that's fair enough.
Are we all there at this point?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. So, welcome, Matt and Simon. We brought you in seamlessly. No one noticed.
No.
I said at this point that Ember was just taking a bit of a look over the decapitated head, just making sure that he could cast Speak with Dead. But I mean, as soon as the gnomes emerged, you could have immediately turned your attention. So yeah, Niles and Ember, you are both there.
Is this gnome trying to hide this sort of gesture, or is it?
Yeah, he turns around. It looks like he doesn't want to. He immediately turns so that you can't see his face. Lyra, who sort of walked up with Noose and has spoken to Yudi and Teglin, she's obviously seen this. But I'd say, like, if you wanted to also make an insight check or a perception check, see what else you can pick up. Absolutely. You guys are all there.
I probably will. This probably strikes me as not necessarily odd, but I will see if I can glean any more insight into this.
I can tell that Gizmo's been missing you today, Si.
It's a 13.
It's been a long day.
That's some lovely cuddles you get. 13.
Yep.
Same as Lyra. There's an emotional response here. He's clearly wanting to hide something away, not wanting to reveal to you guys what he's feeling, how he's feeling. You get the sense that that's a pretty normal thing for someone who's been in a pretty traumatic situation and doesn't know who to trust yet.
Yeah, when you go to a wake, you don't want to talk to strangers.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think Niles will probably just say, "I'm sorry we could not come here sooner to help. Oh, if we had known days earlier, we might have been able to have been more of more help. But we did what we could.
Oh, pish posh. You're surface folk. Why would we expect you to come down and rescue us? No. This ain't your doing, love. But thank you for the kind words. Thank you for coming when you did. We didn't expect this. Trust me, we certainly did not expect such an eclectic bunch to be coming to our rescue. We are very grateful.
So just to be clear, just so we have a bit of an idea of what happened here, you say that the Duergar and the Stone Giants attacked first.
Yes.
Do you remember how long ago that might have been?
It was only a few days ago, maybe 4 or 5 days. It's hard to track time in the Underdark, as you know, and the large clock that we used to use above the tower was broken during the attack. The Stone Giants ripped it right off and threw it. A couple of days ago, maybe 4, maybe 5 tops. The Behir has only been here for 3 days. And then as she goes to say something, you watch as Teglin turns around, taps her on the shoulder, and as she turns to face him, you watch as he makes a series of complicated gestures with his hands. She nods, and then turns back to you guys. Yes, Teglin, he said he saw something. He said he saw the giant speaking to the Behir, one of them talking to it. It seemed like it came after they'd already launched, so after the Duergar took away the Sverniblin, 2 of the giants stayed behind. One of them made this strange... I don't know how to describe it. It felt like a vibration in my chest. I don't know how to describe it, sorry, loves. It was like a rumble. You could hear it, but it was always silent. When they made this noise, if it was a noise, everything went silent. We felt this like vibration in our chests, and then maybe 10, 20 minutes later, the Behir just stormed over the walls, moving fast. I dived for cover, but Teglin, he said he heard or saw them. He said he saw them talking. The Behir and the giant.
That is unusual. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
well,
can I roll for that?
Yeah, do you want to make me a nature check?
Yeah.
See what you know about Behir and giants.
It's a -1, so this is not inspiring much hope. Oh, actually,
I can feel
18.
natural 18. As you as you conjure back your memories of what you learned at the Tower of Brilliance. Niles, one of the passages that you quickly read, you and Bart together went over, really comes back in that moment. The fact that the Behir are the natural enemy of the dragons, that they are a creature that has evolved to occupy the same territory as dragons, to occupy the same niche. And then there was a mention of a history with the dragons, that they had, as far back as records went, that they had always been opposed to the dragons. And it's at this point that you remember Behir don't just look like dragons, they have the same powers as dragons. The lightning breath. Storm giants have powers over lightning, powers over the weather. And you know from your history that there were clashes between the giants and the dragons early on. Unlike the dwarves and elves who made deals with the giants, the dragons came and conquered. When they came through the portals, it wasn't oh, hello, new races, we're keen to be involved. It was, this is our land now. Bow before us. We are the mighty and terrible draconic race. They brought their own god with them. Bahamut came through with the dragons. Bahamut and Tiamat. No other race that has come to Nostea brought their own gods. The dragons were a genuine threat to the giants. And there was a peace brokered eventually, but not the same as it was for the dwarves and not the same as it was for the elves. Very, very different situation.
Right.
In this moment, Niles, with an 18, you're beginning to start to think very strongly that the giants might have been very, very involved with the creation of the Behir.
Wow, okay. That tells me a lot, actually.
That also opens up a lot of questions that we can ask it. This is out of game.
Yeah.
I'd say, Threign, you're standing at the back next to Ember. You can be like, Ember, remember that. That is important to think. When we talk to cops of head, you remember question. I do not take notes. I do not remember.
You do this for me, okay? Okay.
As fellow giants, we have connection.
Niles probably takes a bit of a step back from that and sort of just kind of ponders that a little bit and sort of says, that must mean I was under the impression that the Behir was acting on its own, but for the giants to have made it some sort of dealing with it and then just set it upon the city, this seems like it was premeditated. It wasn't some sort of accident or some sort of, this was a very deliberate act. This is what I feared.
Well, when you mentioned deliberate act, when we were on the way to the city to go fight the Behir, we noticed a bunch of the footprints through the tunnels, the train tunnels and the lines. How long ago was that again? Like, was that, because that was longer than 5 days or so. That was like 2 or 3 weeks, I thought.
Yeah, it was about, I think it was just over a week. I think it was 1 to 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I guess she might try and ask then, so before all this happened, before everyone sort of came taking the Duergar and the Behir and everyone came, was there like a semi-mass exodus of people roughly a week or 2 ago?
Lyra, you watch as instantly Teglin looks down at his feet, starts shuffling. Yudi looks away, not meeting Noose's eyes anymore.
Oh, shit. There was some sort of schism, huh?
Did a warning come through and only half the people believed it, or was there some kind of unrelated fight?
Noose goes to shake his head. No, there's no way that there'd be a... And then as he notices Yudi's behavior, you watch as he pauses for a second, looks up at you, Lyra, then looks at Yudi and goes, Yudi, what are you not telling me? Noose, it's not good. When you went missing, the High One, he got a bit paranoid. Started making all sorts of rules and claims, putting everyone into lockdown, making everyone check in at regular intervals, started controlling food and water rations. He began to it got intense. And then the leaflets started dropping. No one knows where they came from, but all over the city overnight, hundreds of pieces of paper calling out the High One as having made a deal with the Duergar, that he was betraying the rest of the Sverniblin in exchange for wealth and power and for him and his close circle to be spared. And it was panic. People started rioting and it was bad.
That explains the damage. So, how exactly? So, as much as you can remember, how long ago exactly was this?
2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks ago. Everything escalated after that point. The king, the High One, he put the tower on lockdown, closed the city gates. No one could come or go. A group of the younger gnomes stormed the railway tracks. They took the hidden railway. They vanished. We convinced our son not to go. But now I wish we had, because he was there when the Behir came through.
And you watch as Teglin next to her again turns away.
No.
Noose just says nothing, walks up, pulls her into a big hug, looks at Teglin, and then gestures. You watch as Teglin sort of like shuffles a little bit. Noose reaches out, grabs him by his neck, the scruff of his clothes, and pulls him in for the hug as well, pulling them both in, wrapping them in a big hug. A hand on the back of the head, holding them in close. And you watch as the Sverniblin take a bit of a moment together. You get the distinct impression. Yeah.
I'll probably just bow a little bit, like, respectfully, realizing what's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noose turns to look at you guys.
why don't you said something about checking around the Behir. Why don't you go do that, and I'll take these two into the tower and get them settled, and we can sit down and have a catch up when they've had a moment.
Oh, of course. Take all the time you need. You know where to find us.
Yudi sort of goes, no, it's okay. I'm okay. And he's like, no, you're not okay. Come, let me see if I can do something to make up for this mess. Come. With that, you watch as the three gnomes make their way towards the tower.
Lyra really wants to
Yeah,
be
you
there
can-
for the Behir questioning, but I think she might actually take a page out of Mira's book. And I'm sure, like, in her rations and, she's got, a fire starter and stuff, she's going to try and put on a pot of tea and just sort of make tea for everyone.
Oh, Niles will give you his tea collection to help, because he does have a set of tea.
That's right, you do. You've got like a whole like herbalist's kit worth of tea. It's just your tea kit essentially. I remember this.
It's cook's utensils, but yeah, we can say it's
I think we've already had that discussion that we'd kind of reskinned it more as like different brews of tea. I remember you like going through the different compartments and like making a specialized brew out of the leaves, like picking the specific leaves.
I see Lyra pull out her tea set, and I pull out my tea set, and we start like both brewing.
You have to imagine like Niles is like this tiered box, and as he like opens up the lid, he pulls out two trays that like line up on these two things up above, forming like 4 different tiers. And as you can see, there's like 30 or 40 different leaf varieties in here.
You know that scene in Toy Story 2 when the guy is
Yeah. It's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. Just pulls out the tea. It's exactly what I was picturing when I was describing that. It's brilliant. Yeah.
And then sort of maybe before she sort of goes off to go take the tea to the gnomes, she might sort of turn around and just like, maybe if there was someone that the Behir didn't get a good look at, or maybe if one of the other gnomes could help, the Behir might not talk to anyone who got a good look at our faces.
If you like as well, I can disguise myself to look like someone else.
I forget that you can do that a lot.
Yeah, look, sometimes I do too. It would be helpful if I would remember it a bit more often.
Maybe we can work this to our advantage. Maybe you could I have it. You could make yourself look like a Duraga, since they seem to be getting along pretty well.
Or a stone giant if we put them on stilts.
That might be a bit more of a stretch.
I mean, I'm happy to give it a go. Have I seen Owen? Have I seen a Duraga at this?
You would have in the Myconid camp.
Yeah.
Oh,
you saw
perfect.
The Spore Durga. Spore 7 Durga.
Granted, that was dead. So
to be
and full of spores.
And full of spores. Yeah, that's right.
It's actually a good point. Like, did you see one that was actually like fully intact, or did you see one that was covered in spores? That actually might sort of disrupt your like how you see it physically.
That's it. I just don't want to make an assumption that I would know, but I mean, based off that, I could maybe make my best guess.
100%.
Have you seen a dwarf?
He's seen dwarves before. Yeah,
You've seen a dwarf, just a dwarf with grey skin.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be the standard performance check, but you have seen dwarves before, and you have seen a Duraga with mushrooms growing out of it, but that's close enough. Like, it gives you enough of an indication. Yeah, for sure.
Perfect.
Brilliant. Well, as you guys all reconvene around the bottom of the tower with the head of the Behir sitting there, unmoving, tongue lolling out, eyes rolling up into the head. The clean slice that Threign did across the neck has actually frozen over. The force of his frost-infused slash actually locking a lot of the flesh and blood that would have normally spilled out, freezing it solid along the tip. You can see that is slowly melting as time goes on. I understand, Ember, you wanted to cast Speak with Dead.
Not before I change my appearance.
I figured. As you... go back.
I was just going to say, while the conversation with the refugees was taking place, could I have done my chat with Groot just so I'm here for the
100%. Absolutely, yeah.
Because I wouldn't have wanted to miss out on that.
No, good call. As you we'll jump back in time about 10 minutes as you head over with with you. You can see she's got in her hand, she's got a satchel around her waist that has what looks like 6, maybe 7 of these leather-bound little pouches with what almost looks like a fuse, this rope that's been stained black coming out the top of it, this very thin piece of twine. And she's got one in her hand that she's sort of slowly looking over as she looks at the body of the Behir. And as you approach, you can see she's sort of a bit distant, cough politely. She shakes herself, looks up and goes, sorry, but, sorry, my mind was elsewhere. How can I help?
I'll try to cheer up. I'm going to do like a little pirouette and just ask her how I look. Do like a curtsy.
Yeah, you look good. You got a bit of blood on, just like on your feathers.
On one of feathers? I'll get it later. Yeah. Sorry. You looked so eager. Is that all of it? Was there any more down there?
There's not much else. It looks like it's been raided. That's what I was gonna come and tell you guys, but then I thought maybe it was more important I get out there and start throwing the black powder and yeah, looks like the storeroom had been broken into before I got there. But well, I've got a whole bunch of charges. I've got 7. That's a pretty good. Like, you'd be surprised how much damage you can do with these.
Well, to get back, obviously the other survivors, we may need that. So that's amazing that you found some. But it's also really useful that you told me that. We now know that the Druid are most likely are in possession of some of this black powder, and we can at least prepare for, if they do have that, what their plans may be.
They would already have access to that, but I mean, they've got a lot of my people as slaves. I'm not going to pretend for a second that they haven't got someone to crack and share the formula. It's supposed to be a closely guarded secret, but this is the last stronghold. Blindenstone is it. There were 8. This is all that's left. Like, they've got access to it by now. We'd be kidding if we thought they didn't. It was an edge.
Do you know how much the storehouse would have held, roughly?
It's hard to know. I'm not really involved in that side of things. It's not my specialty. But
that's
I mean,
okay. Maybe some of the other deep gnomes will know.
Yeah, Gobbledy, he had a bit more to do with that sort of stuff. Like, not the making a black powder. He's not an alchemist or anything, but I mean, he often helped out transporting goods and moving them around. And I mean, he made a lot of the metal straps for the barrels. I mean, his family were blacksmiths, so like he knows a bit.
Okay, perfect. I don't know if you noticed or not, but with my pirouette, do I look different?
You watch as she like takes an actual proper look at you. It's good to keep in mind though. I think you're like 6 foot, right?
Yeah, I'm about 6'1".
She's a lot shorter than that. She really has to crane up to look, and your chest isn't exactly flat. You've got quite muscular pecs. She sort of like takes a moment and peeks. She goes,
"Oh, your neck. You got the stones."
I'll get on like a knee so that it's within like eye line of her. Yes, I've finished what you'd helped me begin. A bit of a, I don't know, bond to
that looks good. I
my
like
family.
It. That's lovely.
Do you think so?
What's that last stone? Some sort of obsidian or something?
Yes, I'm not the one on the spot for once. This feels like vindication for me.
There was the
aquamarine, I think it was.
Aquamarine. There was the black gem, sacrificial gem from the bloody fish people, Kuatoans.
Which I don't think you've identified. Yeah, or did you identify it? Onyx.
No,
Onyx.
I didn't.
Onyx. I'm back.
Onyx, and the onyx was the one that I found with like I think it was the elves.
Yeah. As you sort of like hold it out and she looks again, she sort of nods and goes, No, it's onyx. Can't see through it. That's nice. I like it. It's lovely. It's pretty.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah. I think it's really cute. I think it's really elegant. I think it's really elegant. Really lovely.
I'm not a jeweler or anything like that. So I came across tools and I wasn't sure when I'd get a chance to do this, so it felt a little rushed without your skilled hands.
My pleasure. It was a nice distraction, and it was. I mean, I'm not like a skilled jeweler or anything like that. Like I did a little bit of tinkering, but it's not like
we searched for Gobbledy, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they were taken or if they're still here or if they ran with any of the other survivors from tracks that we may have found. But sorry, I'm gonna take a second to think about it. But
You found Goldie.
actually,
You guys found Goldie. Yeah.
No. I'm thinking about
Her family.
I need to find in my notes. Yeah, her lover, the woman that she is, the female deep gnome that she has a thing for. I had it in my notes. Can I do just a quick history check while I'm looking for it? Because I myself don't remember.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna have to try and find it too. That was an on-the-spot improvisation, so it's let's see. Yeah, make a history check, and then I'll just like edit it in really seamlessly.
I got I think it was like 17 or 18. I'm focusing more on the notes because I'd love to actually remember for her. Is she in my friends list? Flick.
That's right. Let's just jump in. What do you say?
Would you? I need to go with the group in a second. We might be able to find out some useful information about rescuing the rest of Blinden Stone. We have magic to speak to the Behir's corpse, but once I'm done with that, would you like me to help you look for Flick? We could head to her house.
It's okay. Her house. She points at the crushed-in building just across the street from where you guys are, where she's standing over near the Black Powder Reserve. She goes, that was her place. I had a look. There's no one in there. It's one of the reasons why I was a little bit slow with the Black Powder. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure she was okay.
To be honest, the plan went off much better than even I was expecting. So no, you're fine, and you were speedy as all hell. So
I tried to be.
Okay.
She's not there. I'll have a closer look through once we can get the roof up. I was hoping I could ask for maybe Threign's help to move the roof when he's back in his big form again. It's okay. I know she's not there. I hope there's maybe like a note or something she's left me. Yeah. At this point, I'm just trying to stay positive, right? Like I'm hoping she made it out on the rails.
I'll lean down and give like a soft hug to her little body. While I speak with the Behir, would you be able to chat to? It seems like your little trifecta may know the two survivors over there.
Sorry, two survivors? What? Did you find some people?
Yeah. They were wearing purple robes with a V symbol on them.
Teglin and Yudi. Point. I'll run. Just point.
Do you know what the symbol means?
Oh, they're stewards. They're stewards of the tower. It's like a ceremonial thing. It's not really observed before. It's sort of like fallen out of fashion.
I'll point in the direction, but I will just ask. I was going to actually ask you to head over to them. We were going to ask the Behir, but they may know, and it could save us a question. Can you find out from them if they know where other refugees or survivors went? Not the ones that were taken by the Duergar, but we saw tracks at the mine carts. They may know, and we were going to ask the Behir in case he saw it while he was staying around here, but that could save us another valuable question on saving lives.
You watch as she nods enthusiastically. Yeah, absolutely. I'll run right back as soon as I know what happened.
Okay, thank you. I'll give her a pat and stand up, and we'll go head in different directions. And
she's sprinting. You watch as she takes off at high speed down the main road towards the tower. Perfect. As you all convene together again at the base of the tower, the Behir's corpse lying there in front of you. Dave.
Ooh.
You're muted, my friend.
Oh,
he's not muted.
I typed it in chat, but
there we go.
Harry, can he discreetly look in some of the abandoned buildings to see if there are any valuables that might need a new home?
2,000,000%. Would you like to roll me an investigation or a perception check?
I would like to do it discreetly as well, so
I'll take a
as
stealth
much
check
as I can
too.
without the rest of the team knowing. Yes.
To be fair, the last team saw.
My 9 passive perception.
I don't know. It sounds like Bart might see you.
Oh god, that was actually pretty.
13. Yep, I'm rolling bad. Okay, and then perception, or was it what was it?
Perception or investigation, your choice. 13, Harry. 16. Okay. As you guys begin getting ready to do this ritual to speak to the head of the Behir, anyone with a passive perception of 13, you watch as Harry starts like skittering around the rooftops. And as you call out, sort of invite him to come join you, Harry sort of shakes his head and then points inside and then vanishes through one of the windows. maybe he's looking for survivors? You hope?
I think Niles has left out
in your home.
Or another corpse of a child.
I just sigh.
Harry, as you head inside the houses, those that are mostly undamaged, where the roofs have only been partly collapsed, the walls partly damaged, there are some interesting valuables here, Harry. Could you please roll me a d10?
Yeah. After that, I'd also like to use my wand of magic detection to see if there's any magic items.
Oh.
That's a 6.
6, Harry. Okay. As you begin going through the 3 houses around the edge of the tower, you find the equivalent of 60 gold's worth of items. A lot of these are trinkets, metalwork, gemstones, things like that. Items of value that are left behind in a moment of panic as you're sitting. Yeah, family heirlooms, like priceless, emotionally charged items.
Grandma's urn.
Yeah,
I don't think the urn's worth very well. I mean, the urn itself is worth a bit.
You tip out the ash from the urn and tuck the urn away in your bag.
Put the jewelry in there.
Yeah, put the jewelry in the urn, start stuffing it in.
Like 7-Eleven, bring your own like Slurpee cup day, and you're just like chucking all the jewels into the
as you begin going through all of the items. In addition, Harry, as you use your wand of magic detection, could I please get you to? Could you please roll me a d20, just a flat d20?
That's a 4.
That's a 4. That's okay. It's okay. Could you now please roll me a d100?
That's a 38.
38. Harry, as you begin going through, the dresses, as you begin going through all the interesting things, you find what looks like more of a let's say like a dresser cabinet, and you can see that inside, rather than being clothes, are vials and vials and vials of potions, various looking items. Most of the glass has been cracked and broken. You can see that whatever shook this building has destroyed most of the items here, but you do find what looks like a potion filled with yellow fluid that almost seems to be spinning and swirling around, little flecks of black, almost like black ink, occasionally twisting and curling inside the vial as you find a potion of speed.
Yeah, I think I've had that before.
When you drink this, you gain the effect of the haste spell for 1 minute. Concentration not required.
Ooh, that's very good.
So P.
That's so good.
For Harry, that's pretty fucking good. And that was a genuine random roll table. If you'd rolled 1 higher, it would not have been that item. It would have been something, for you, not very great. So you rolled well.
Okay. Nice. Well, Harry will slip that 60 gold in his pocket. 60 gold's worth of stuff into his bag of holding.
Yeah.
And he intends to sell it later and adding it to the group money, but not tell anyone where the money came from.
Do you?
There's just suddenly gold.
I think we have 2 bags.
Yeah, you got 2.
Oh, we have 2. Okay.
Yeah, Harry's got 1. Perfect.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay. Go and see others just discreetly. Just shows up.
Amazing.
Ember, as you activate your Firbolg magic and disguise yourself as a creature, a medium, or I think it's a medium creature you can disguise yourself as you take on the appearance of a Durgar, this illusionary form dropping down in height and creating a second skin around you of a Durgar. Could I get you to please roll me... actually, we'll do this as a spellcasting check because this is using your spellcasting. So could you please roll me a d20 plus your spellcasting modifier as if you were doing like a fireball. So you could just roll it as a fireball because that's the same thing.
Oh, cool.
So if you're doing spellcasting, so if you're doing an attack.
So if I'm doing an attack?
Yeah, it's because essentially I'm asking you for the same thing, so it's the same stuff basically. 23. That's not fucking bad. Ember. Yeah, it's exactly as Christian said. It's just a race-green dwarf. You know what dwarves look like. You just create a dwarf. You perfectly recreate the image of one of the Durgar that you saw in the Myconid circle, removing obviously the missing skin and flesh and mycelium growing through the body, the mushrooms, fruiting bodies growing out of the skull where the eyeball was dangling off. You remove all that, shrink it back down, and make it a perfect replica of one of the Duergar that you saw inside the Myconid camp, and then change enough of the features that you could be maybe his cousin or maybe his half-brother or something, just different enough that you are a unique Duergar. To all of you
hopefully something isn't killed.
Yeah, all of you looking at Ember, it's fucking uncanny. And you watch as Gobbledy, who's kind of sitting, watching over this, winces as he looks at Ember.
Mm-hmm. Likewise for Bart right now.
Yeah, actually, Bart. Memories.
Last time I saw a Duergar, it ripped my wings off.
Memories that you've been working very hard to forget begin flooding back, and you feel your heart starting to beat faster and faster in your chest as you look at Ember. You have to take a moment, pause, breathe in and breathe out, remembering that this is your friend Ember.
I heard the tail end of the conversation as I was walking over to all of you, and I feel like we should discuss what we want to ask the Behir ahead of time. We nearly ran into some problems of accidentally saying questions the last couple of times we've been practicing this magic.
My favorite thing.
One thing that did pop to my head is I feel like now almost a need to ask a question is less about the refugees and the survivors and more about the giants themselves. My main curiosity now, funny enough, isn't actually the gnomes, or as far as this is rescuing them. We still don't know what the Duergar are doing down here and what the giants are doing down here. The Behir may not know what the Duergar are doing down here either, but it may know what the giants are doing down here if it's working for them. They ordered it to stay here, guard here, take over here, scavenge from here. There is a reason, and I would like to know why. What did the giants tell it about this place? I feel like that should be our first question. I'm not sure if the wording is correct. Obviously, this stuff is very particular.
So, first question, if we need to take it down to very basics, if you were to put it in one line, what would you like me to ask?
Well, I thought, what did the giants tell you about this place? Because if we ask why you here, it might just say guarding. But if we ask it what they told it, it might include some orders. It might include why it was here.
Perhaps then, maybe not to do with this place specifically, but it stands to reason from what we've heard today so far that the stone giants maybe are in alliance or maybe even created the Behir. So maybe the Behir knows what the stone giants are looking for or what their objectives are. So maybe you can ask it that. What is it looking for?
Those are some of the other things that I had down. Some other ideas for questions was, what are the stone giants down here for? Because I agree 100%, Niles. And the other several questions was what races they saw destroy this area. I know that sounds dumb, but let me explain. Obsidian Foot didn't have too many actual Duergar working underneath him. It was predominantly slaves. Hobgoblins, bugbears, things like that. I had an idea of, obviously our next target is the stone giants and Obsidian Foot. I'll lift up the obsidian, or I found this and I know that he's working alongside them. If we know, I guess, if he did bring the slaves with him and what races are included in that, maybe we could incite a rebellion to help us fight against such a large, powerful force that could topple a city. Okay. And next question was, hoping, however old this thing was, and I'm not sure if any of us know much about Behirs and could even stab a guess at how old it is, but things about, is Anam truly dead? I feel like that plays a large part into what the giants are doing, why they're doing it. I'm sorry, Threign, but I feel like it's an important question.
Well, I do have one question to ask it, actually. I want to know why it was so weak.
No. Threign,
Threign,
sidebar.
you know in your mind, Threign. You know in your mind. You can hear your subconscious. You really fucked this one up. That might have been one chance for honorable combat against a Behir, and you tied it up with magic and trickery. This is dishonorable what you did to defeat
let's
this.
side combat for now.
I didn't do that.
No,
Threign, I'm sure that there will be other combats in the future for us.
Oh, I know. That was more of a joke. I'm over it. I'm only going to be sad for so long.
Did you not hear? Four stone giants for us to combat soon. That should be something that you look forward to. Test your mettle against them.
That's a very good
Can't wait to
question.
tie them down.
Owen, just quickly.
Yeah.
How would Threign feel about actually attacking other giants?
That's a really good question. I mean, Threign, your entire life you were brought up to revere, to not worship per se, but to really look up to the frost giants in particular as the paragons of what it is to be a giant. That's that they are your kin, your honored ancestors. That's
How recently did he join? Did he see the hill giants?
Threign wasn't there for this. Oh, you're there for a bit of the Hill Giants. You were actually. Yeah, you were. That's right.
I was actually quite respectful.
You quite liked them, yeah.
So Threign joined in after we fought the cultists, the elemental cultists.
And the
so what I would say,
so the Hill Giants was like one of the first things he did with us. Really
Yeah.
Right? Because
pretty much.
We went back
For those of you who
what
were wondering what's going on with the cultists, I've got that little adventure on the back burner until Claire and Michael rejoined, because that was very much joined into Michael's character. I didn't want to do it without him.
That's absolutely fine.
So they're just doing some stuff in the background for the moment. Their plans were somewhat thwarted. They're regathering their strength.
So to Niles, I'll say they are not sport. I will give them a lot more honor.
Oh.
To be truthful, not looking forward to actually fighting them. But if what they are doing is wrong, then they will need to be brought in line.
Well, I did have a question, not for the Behir, but for all of you, because I've never experienced it. I don't want to make assumptions, Threign, but taking a look just literally around me, they're not doing good. But what do you all know about stone giants from your dreams?
I don't actually think we met one. I'm a stone giant in my dream, and it's really confusing because it feels like they don't. They believe in that, like, when they're outside, it's like a dream itself. So they themselves and don't associate too much with the other giants. So it's
well, could there be the possibility, Harry? Then
sorry, I disconnected. Wait, so.
It seems you're having some trouble there with your patron.
As Harry emerges from inside one of the buildings, crawling down on a rope, his pockets stuffed with urns and other things.
Owen, just quickly, sorry.
Yeah.
Were the stone giants talked at my stronghold?
Not as much.
Would I only know like a brief description of them, like what they typically are?
The stone giants were pretty enigmatic outside of the giant cultures, and so what was passed down through the frost giant Goliaths, what was passed down through your lineage, the fire giants live in volcanoes, forging items of steel and weapons of war. The stone giants live below the earth. The cloud giants.
Yeah, very literal.
They were the poets and dreamers. That's what they were.
There's not a lot that you would have really known about stone giants. Just that they were master craftsmen and sculptors of stone.
Yeah,
and that's really it.
I'm just trying to think. Is this out of line for their character? Like slaving?
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Harry, you mentioned Could there be the possibility that they don't fully know what they're doing?
Well, that has crossed my mind.
It does seem a bit. The slaving does seem a bit out of line for them personally, but admittedly, I don't know much about them other than what I've heard, which is not much.
Like, if this is a dream and they're back here, it could be anything. They could be seeing or thinking something completely different and being swayed. They could think maybe the war back from when they were sent away or whatever happened is still going on.
Are you saying that they're being manipulated, maybe?
Maybe by the Duergar. I know that Obsidian Foot is more than capable of that.
Hold on. Wait. When we came here, when we came to the Underdark, we crossed across a bridge, didn't we not? That bridge had evidence that there was definitely something large, perhaps a stone giant, and they said that the drow were there. What if the stone giants think they're fighting drow? What if the Duergars twisted their minds to think that they're attacking a different foe?
It could be anything. They could think everything down here is the ancient fight, something evil. It could be the drow. The problem is that if this is, like Harry's saying, a dream, dreams can be anything.
That's true.
And on the topic of dreams, sorry, it just sort of reminded me that what if, this is all just speculation, but if these stone giants still have the heartstones in their hands, perhaps, with the entities and the people, the architects and, sorry, I completely forgotten their names, but...
Well, the archivists, yes.
The archivists. I mean, if say a Duergar has a stone and he's somehow convinced the archivist in his stone to put a new dream out to these giants, I mean, again, all speculation at this point, but could be a direction worth investigating.
We don't quite know what the heartstones how they operate with the giants. You're right. It could be like some sort of directive or command, perhaps.
I didn't even think about asking how the heartstones work.
I mean, they have a different relationship to dreaming and sleep than the rest of us, and even the other giants do.
Well,
like we were saying.
What was the name of the archivist? We could even ask it who is the archivist, or what is a archivist.
Oh. Our friend in the simulation did say that there were many versions of him spread across. He was fragmented. So
maybe then, what is a archivist rather than who?
But the Behir might not necessarily actually know, because...
No, I know. That's true. It's like asking an underling what their boss's dealings are. That does pose a question of, I guess, whether we need to come at this with a passive sense or an aggressive sense of maybe posing the question to the Behir, are the stone giants asleep?
Oh.
You sleep? I mean, they're awake, but they get, like, it's like half awake, if that makes sense.
Or you could say, are they dreaming?
But the Behir would know that. It's not in that same state as them. We could ask it, do the stone giants think that they're sleeping?
Or from the more simple perspective is, have they started acting, dramatically different since encountering the Duergar?
That's a good question.
Or did they start acting different after encountering a different race? Like, open-end the question.
Why are the stone giants acting different? Just keep it vague.
It's a good idea.
The final two ideas that I possibly had was just, depending on how ancient this thing is, asking it directly about the main overarching threat. What is Hadar, or who is Hadar?
Bit of a stab in the dark there.
It may not know, but I feel like if we have a leftover one, there's not even... Like I'd mentioned to you all about wanting to talk to this thing originally, before Lyra decided to pimp hand it. You don't get to speak to creatures that are thousands of years old every day.
Unless you wanted to fly to Chiari.
I know that the Tempest Guild has dragon people to get in touch with, but I'm not sure how soon we'd be able to contact them. There may be more pressing matters that I think me and Niles will need to talk to you all about sooner rather than later. But for now, with the questioning, I feel like this is a chance. If we run out of questions when it comes to the archivists, the heartstones, the stone giants, why they're acting the way that they are, if there are slave races, if we get the answers to maybe multiple of these questions, luckily, then I feel like Hadar may be a good fallback point.
It can't hurt. There's a chance that perhaps this creature was around during the ruin, so it might know something. It's possible.
I'm not sure if I said it literally in-game, but I also in relation to Hadar, why the giants got sent away in ancient times. But that's another old question, but I feel important.
Sorry, because I don't know. I mean, my experience with D&D is not as great as other people. So Speak with Dead, my understanding when looking up the spell, we can cast it on the same creature every 10 days. Does that sound correct?
Yeah.
That would be correct.
If Ember knows that and we've got a bag of holding, why couldn't we just take the head with us and ask it again in a week and a half and some of these other questions we want to know?
The problem is the head is pretty big.
It's pretty big. The bag of holding diameter is limited.
Not even just the size of the head, but I'm fairly certain, metagaming-wise, it says that they need to be able to, like, it needs to be a good structured head and throat. Yeah. This thing's going to eventually start rotting once it's just a bony skeleton.
If you had gentle repose, you could slow down decay.
Yeah, I don't have that.
It also has the decay damage that we caused it as well, just because.
The mummification, remember, the formaldehyde, which may slow down in its mouth. That's what I was thinking. I was going to say the opposite. If anything, the formaldehyde that you poured down its throat.
Well, in that case, I
mummified it. Yeah.
The biggest problem is just transport. Then.
Yeah. I mean, you could always just get the gnomes to look after it for you.
Carry it around. I don't mind carrying around the head. I don't really care. I've done it before.
That'd be cool.
That is an idea. I'll take Owen's a lovely DM idea here. Getting the Druiga, the Swift Nerblin to sort of like put this in a vault and just save it for us. And every 10 days we just try to come back with teleportation circles and ask it questions again. This could be like our
and then teleport
it
with you when you get back. Like they don't have to hold onto it forever, just long enough for you guys to.
Demon in the cellar that we ask.
I give Bart a bit of a knowing look, and I could be like, well, and it could also be useful for things above the surface as well, as a proof of a victory, perhaps.
I 100% agree.
You get it stuffed and mounted.
Maybe we can ask the others once they come back over to us. Okay, well, Ember, take it away.
Well, before I do take it away, I was trying to note down questions and what everyone said.
I've got them here. Depending on the answers, we can then jump to what we're wanting. But I feel like number one is definitely, what did the giants tell you about this place? Okay. And from there, I feel like we might arc our investigation.
And only questions Ember speaks will be answered. I sort of played for laughs a little bit last time, but technically, just for fun, but technically, it should be any question that Ember asks while the spell is active, it will answer.
So Ember, shut the fuck up.
I've got that. Don't worry.
Well, everyone else, I was just wondering, should we ask this Behir if there's any other Behirs it knows so we can kill them too?
I thought the same thing, actually. If they created them, is there some sort of army of Behirs?
I am the last of my kind. The world shall never again know the splendor and grandeur of the Behir. Your world is lesser. Dark days have fallen upon Nostea.
I think so.
Matt, everything exists in the ecosystem. It's a hierarchy. It's a circle of life.
In 10 years, Etacaps are going to sweep from the bowels of the earth and eat everything on the surface.
Legitimately, though, people probably think that sharks are horrible, but we all now know
they're awesome. We need
very,
sharks. They're great.
Very amazing for the ecosystem.
We love them. They're awesome.
Oh, I mean, I was more getting at the fact that Behir is like a monstrosity that's created by giants. But anyway, it's cool. They're artificial. They're best. Anyway.
Oh, if they're artificial. Ooh.
Well,
I didn't know
they're all.
I didn't know
they're all artificial. I thought only this one was made. I didn't realize all of them are.
Yep, that's what I was.
It's an invasive species.
Thanks, Owlin.
Alrighty, Ember.
Do I have to cast anything? Because I don't have it in my spells list. That's all.
Oh, so it's in the breastplate, so you can cast it.
It has a 1-day use of it.
Once per day, you cast it from the breastplate without spending a spell slot.
It's a free thing.
Oh, that's what I mean. So I don't have to roll for it, though?
No. It happens. The magic takes hold and activates.
Yeah, it just happens.
Oh, sorry. I found it. Yeah, all good.
That's all
Speak with dead.
But
there she blows.
It doesn't have a roll thing in
You don't need to roll. There's nothing you need to roll.
Okay, cool.
It just happens.
You
literally, you look at the corpse, you point at it, and you go, "Speak, motherfucker!" And then the corpse starts speaking.
Ordinarily it is a 3rd level spell, so that's actually a fair amount of resources to be
And
put
fair
into
enough,
it,
you're
so-
probably looking for a spell slot to tick off or something.
That's because it also says in the description. I was trying to read and speak with dead earlier. It says if the spell fails, or the spell fails. I'm like, okay.
Well, the conditions
anyway.
for it failing are if it's decayed or it doesn't understand.
Has to have a mouth, can't be undead, and if it was the target of this spell within the last 10 days, the spell fails. They're the only 3 reasons why it would fail.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect.
Ember. As the magic flows around you, you all watch as Ember places a hand upon the breastplate and then begins to pull the necromantic magic forth. You watch as Ember's eyes begin to glow green. Ember, you don't know how you know what to do. The magic seems to flow through you as you begin tracing symbols in the air. The magic, the knowledge of what you're doing, leaving your mind as soon as it enters, as soon as you act out the components of the spell. And as you finish tracing these lines in the air above you, you watch as the eyes of the Behir suddenly glow with a bright green light. You watch as the mouth begins to twitch, the tongue slowly moving back inside the head. And as it opens its jaws wide, stretching, it looks towards you. The spell is active. You may ask your questions.
Okay, so staring at it, I'm just going to say stick to the questions, and I'm going to ask, what did the giants tell you about this place?
The giants told me to guard this place, to seek warm flesh, to rip and tear.
Okay.
Not saying anything, I'm going to turn to everyone else.
Okay. But we don't really need to ask it, but let's theorize a little bit. Why would it need to guard a leftover scrap heap? That's what I was so curious about. Why would they come back if they took everyone, though? So is the indicator that... So this is an indicator that those tracks we found are survivors. That's what I'm saying. I think that we've answered part of the question by just some simple deductions. There'd be no reason to guard it if survivors weren't coming back. So that points out that's a reason why this thing was left behind, because people did get away.
Yes, the other survivors confirmed that.
Okay. Could there be any other reasons as well, just so we're not instantly assuming that it could be guarding this place?
There's something here that it already needs, that they're waiting for the giants to come back.
They haven't found or they weren't able to transport yet? Maybe we could ask the deep gnomes about that.
Possibly a staging area for further expansion into the Underdark, perhaps?
The tunnels.
The tunnels.
The tunnels.
Those mine shafts
Secret
go
tunnels.
at a rapid pace across most of the Underdark. It could be a very easy place for the Duergar to expand across a vast territory. And from my knowledge of them, they are expansionists.
The Underdark spreads under most of Nostea, doesn't it?
Yes.
I mean, they could theoretically use between the tunnels, and if they build an army, they could attack the surface from literally anywhere.
Pretty sure you guys already rolled this check earlier about... I think this is when you were speaking to the Sverniblin back up on the surface, but you know that the might of the Duergar forces have been battling the mountain dwarves of Balmir to the point where the mountain dwarves of Balmir and the Darmirian Drow have actually formed an alliance and have they've got no choice. Yeah, far
they
towards
could
the
suddenly
east.
flank them.
Oh shit!
So you know that Balmir is in trouble.
It was a stalemate in front. Being allied, if they could suddenly pop up behind them.
Because Balmir is essentially a mountain fortress, right?
Yeah.
Balmir, the entire continent, is this rugged mountainous terrain. The only people who live on the surface are the stone Goliaths, the descendants of the stone giant Goliaths. Inside the mountain, though, the mountain dwarves rule. The Low King has ruled for generations upon generations, but they have been fighting the Duergar fiercely and I think we even brought this up during the Tyranny of Dragons campaign. This is one of the precursors to what happened in the Tyranny of Dragons. The Mountain Dwarves and Darmiri and Drow had to form an alliance for the first time ever. Mountain Dwarves and Drow fighting side by side against this incredible, powerful Duergar army,
I guess
powered by
also
slavery.
For Christian's benefit as well, this was one of the plot hooks we had in Tyranny of Dragons to actually go to Balmir, but we ended up going to Chiari.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We just there was a lot, and we were
I made sure there was. I very much populated this world with lots of stuff, and then kind of took a shotgun approach where I was like, "Here's all the hooks. What do you want?" we'll follow the plot where you guys want to go. And I think you guys were really keen on the Chiari side of things, and it made sense with Tyranny of Dragons, so I sort of let the Balmir stuff go on the back burner.
But that's actually very fascinating because I've never actually thought about what's happening on the front lines of the Balmir forces against the Duergar and everything like that. That's like unexplored territory. I have no idea what's going on there.
DM,
Hello.
I already know that you've mentioned that obviously we know Blind and Stone, and that from memory I know roughly where the Duergar are, and that's why Niles gave me the potion so that when we got close I could use it to pinpoint it. But I also remember, just clarify however, that I 100% didn't know where the furnaces are.
So you were mostly mining coal and transporting coal. So I would say that you probably have like a rough idea of where the furnaces are, because a lot of these like massive shipping containers, essentially massive metal containers full of coal, were being transported along what almost looked like this weird hybrid rail system, perfectly cylindrical piping that almost looked like it was made of this like shimmering, shiny gold, silver metal, very similar to Electrum, and the shipping containers would hover above it and then shoot off at tremendous speeds towards the north. So you would know a rough direction. If you could get to the mining levels, you would know where the forge roughly is.
With this sort of jogging that memory, actually, I'll bring it up to the party. Question for all of you. On the surface from here, because I'm guessing I wasn't kept too far away, is there any important locations north, if you were to think about the surface world? I want to know where they're sending it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know that you flew southeast from Oxenfoot to get to Green Nest, which is where you met the Sverniblin. Directly north, you're heading up towards a massive lake. But if you were to head sort of northwest a bit, that's Oxenfoot. If you were to head northeast a bit, that's Palin, capital of the Ocean Empire. You've got two different directions north, both of which are the major cities of the Ocean Empire.
And if they go further than that, then it's in one of the known power sources for the archivists.
If they went really far
north. I don't personally know this.
What was that, sorry?
Who's the Ocean Empire? I personally don't.
Oh, the main sort of central continent where we've mostly been exploring is the Ocean Empire. It's a conglomeration of mostly elves, humans, halflings, gnomes, and hill dwarves have come together. It's very much this zone of control that takes up a lot of the central continent known as Oceania. Long ago used to be an empire, but has now become a guild-based leadership structure where you have a council of guild members who run the city in each of the cities, and then they're overseen by the Grand Guild.
A democracy with a superpower, very American-like?
Not so much a democracy, because the guilds vote internally for their representative, but then that representative serves for a lot longer than most democratically elected leaders do, and then the guilds make agreements and decide amongst themselves. Often they'll vote on things.
A possible problem for the future, if I'm just spitting out ideas, stone giants controlled by the Duergar. Duergar, the real menaces of the Underdark at the moment, as the stone giants are in dreams. Duergar need, if they're expansionists and fighting in multiple wars with the many different types of drows and the dwarves and all the other races of the Underdark, need funding, finances, material. The Ocean Empire, a large estate such as that, resources to a place like the Underdark would be a lovely deal for them. I know that my family was all about deals, and Niles all part of merchandising.
I'm fairly aware of where you're going with this.
The Duragar might have some sort of a trade agreement with the Ocean Empire.
Or they might be planning on taking all the resources from below.
I don't know how well the diplomacy between the Ocean Empire and the Duragar would go.
It didn't go so well with the dwarves.
I just don't see why they're sending it north to those locations. Just an idea.
So I'd say you would know this, but particularly Niles, you would know this, and Lyra, you would too. I mean, the Ocean Empire is the zone of control that Oxenfurt sits in, and Lyra, you reported directly to the Oxenfurt Council multiple times during the Tyranny of Dragons campaign. You know that you know these leaders. You know a number of them. The one you were most suspicious of, the one who you thought was up to dodgy shit, Lord Neverember, he died during the Tyranny of Dragons campaign. He did not make it out of Palin. He was there trying to make a deal with the cultists and ended up losing his life. Most of the other council members, I mean, you've met personally. You don't get the sense that they would be working with the Duragar based on that. And I mean, the League of Adventurers kind of reports to the council in some ways. Like, in times of crisis, the adventurers end up sort of working semi for the Ocean Empire, in a way. So you guys kind of, in a very loose way, you also do kind of report to the Ocean Empire at a very, very like casual level now that we're out of crisis. But you also know that with the giants returning, it's very likely you are going to be put back under the spotlight again, especially as members of the Tempest Guild. So it's good to have a healthy skepticism of them. But you got to be careful.
The giants are returning. Maybe the Ocean Empire is threatened by powerhouses and are trying to solidify their dominance as a nation.
I'm under the impression that the Ocean Empire probably don't even realize what's happening in the Underdark, let alone an expansionist state of the Duragar.
They sent us down here. We're not exactly cream of the crop yet. Soon we will be, but right now we're a bunch of semi-unproven adventurers.
No, I wouldn't say that. Come on, Lyra. We're the Tempest Guild. We're pretty important. I wouldn't say that we're
I've been impressed.
Tempest Guild, yes, but I mean, on paper, come on. You look at it from these councillors' perspectives. Surely,
You're not sure whether the councillors would have even been informed yet, Lyra. Mira was the one who sent you down here.
I mean, in any case, we're getting off topic here. We've got this. Yes, we've got this head here that needs some questions given to it.
If you are interested in the deep political side of things, I have been keeping it tracking away in the background. if you want to start dipping your toes into the deep politics, please do, because I've got it all happening in the background while you guys do stuff. So
we're getting there.
Feel free. No, it's no pressure. No pressure. I need to do it anyway so that I know how the world responds to your actions. But if you want to start getting involved in it, there's,
as an aside, with the political intrigue that you've created purely through this role, like this homebrew world, I would love like a Dragon Heist campaign where it's purely set within a city and it's all just political intrigue. I would be very into that.
I've got a murder mystery that I'm working on as a special episode.
Yes.
It'd be like a 3-shot, so 3-episode shot, but I've got a murder mystery that I've been working on and I'm pretty happy with it. It's coming along nicely.
What are
Masquerade-esque.
Yeah, What If Heist is one of those campaigns where I feel like it's going to be very specific, like the type of people,
the character builds,
the characters, the classes. Like it's going to be very much aligned for that to work. So I would love to do it properly. I've played it before, and it's so. But
do you want me to run it as a special? Because it'd probably be what? How many episodes would you think it'd take up? Probably 10.
4 maybe.
Oh, okay.
10, yeah.
At our pace.
At our pace, probably 10.
Okay. Yeah, probably like 8 to 10.
8 to 10, yeah.
That might be a good little interim between Return of the Giants and Twilight of the Gods.
Wee, I like that.
For our next question, I feel like we could go in one of 2 directions, and I've got 3 questions out of ours lined up for that. One direction being trying to assess future foes, and that question being either, are there more Behirs that Threign brought up, or what were the races that destroyed this place, to assess if we can incite a riot, Or the separate path, investigating more on the giants and going with what are the stone giants down here for?
I personally like the more stone giant route.
I think that's a good question. We've still got 4 more questions we can get it, so let's go with that one.
Okay. Is there a... Just before we rush anything, I'm sorry to be over... I'm an overthinker. What are the stone giants down here for? Are we all happy with that wording?
Sounds good to me.
Oh, looking at everyone, just nod and turn around and go, what are the stone giants down here for?
Stone giants are rebuilding, retaking their halls of old.
Okay.
They're rebuilding their homes.
Maybe then we go in with the... Are there any other Behirs?
That does, just the same as the first question, we don't need to stay on it for too long, but that does explain to us that they may be very likely in a dream. They could think that there's invaders in their homes, the Duergar are buddying up to them and telling them to get rid of these pests and pretending that they're the helpers. So they think everything else other than Duergar are pests in their home, and that's why they're working alongside them.
It does stand to reason that we came across the giant technology by accident. It does stand to reason. We have met others in the world that have the heartstones. It does stand to reason that perhaps a Duergar or two got a hold of it and have obviously used it to their advantage to convince the stone giants. Exactly
we can't
that.
assume we're unique or special in that regard. That's actually a really good point.
Of course.
Okay, well, yeah, they could think that means that it's not Drow specific or Deep Gnome specific. They just think everything other than the Duergar are pests.
Maybe then we need to ask them about the dreaming, about them thinking if they're... What was that question again? The phrase?
Are they being controlled?
It was like, are they acting... Do they think they're asleep, or are they acting different?
Yeah.
Are they acting different after meeting the Duergar? I think was the specific.
Are the stone giants acting different after meeting the Duergar? Would it know when they met the Duergar, though?
I mean, if he's assuming the Behir was running around in the same circles with the stone giants, it hopefully would.
Okay. Everyone's in consensus there, yep. So turn around to the head and say, are the stone giants acting different after meeting the Duergar?
Yes. They found me before they met the Duergar. One in particular spoke to them. They became paranoid.
Paranoid?
Just like the king! Like the king!
Yeah, just like the king of the gnomes.
The king? What do you mean?
The High One, yes.
Yeah.
We overheard the gnomes. Was it, what's her name, the survivor? I can't recall it.
Yudi?
She was referred... Sorry.
Yudi?
Yudi, yes, that's right. Yudi, one of the surviving gnomes. We were talking to her about what happened with the populace. Lyra pointed out that there must have been some sort of mass exodus a couple of weeks before the attack. And Yudi mentioned that the High King of the gnomes was acting paranoid as well. They felt like they were going to be attacked or under threat of something. They started acting irrational. That lights up. That seems to be consistent.
I feel like Obsidian Foot is this single Duergar they mention.
I think
if these Duergar are controlling these stone giants with whatever means, I very much look forward to bringing my axe upon their heads.
Agreed.
It
speaks about meeting them beforehand, and if it knew how to find them, or they knew how to find it, maybe it is old. For our next question, I don't know if we stay down the next path, which was, are there more Behirs, or what were the races that destroyed this? Or maybe if we now go in the older questions about Anam, about the heartstones.
I think we need to know how many Behirs we're up against if we're going to push further.
I think so.
I think the other races is a good line of questioning, but I feel like we might be able to glean that information the closer we get to the camp.
I've just realized, Ember, you're welcome to nod or shake your head.
As long as you don't like focus on the head and ask questions, you're good to go, Ember. You can talk. It's just you can't. If you turn towards the head and ask a question of it, it's going to answer that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose if I could answer in statements.
Yes, absolutely, you can.
I agree with the questioning. I think we should ask it about other creatures, be it Behir or not, that are working.
That's actually better.
That's a good one.
That's a lot better.
What creatures are working with just the giants or the stone giants?
With the stone giants.
Or Durga.
Yeah, Durga. We think that yeah. Well, so what other creatures are working with the Durga?
With the Durga?
Or both Durga and giant.
I do think that the Durga, they do seem to be our main enemy.
They seem to be the perpetrators.
Okay, so I'll nod, turn to the head, and say, "What other creatures are working with the Durga?"
Good question. Yeah. As you ask the question, Ember, you watch as the decapitated head again speaks.
There are many the Durga have taken as slaves. Deep gnomes, myconids, to control their minds and their emotions. Creatures that are dead brought back.
Oh shit.
That's why the myconids were going missing so much. Sidebar. The notes of Davian. What if they've started to capture so much due to the fact of having stone giants backing them in strength? We know a creature, or I, from what I remember, that can burrow into the minds of people telepathically, try to forcibly control them. What if they have the aboleth working with them? The one that was mentioned by the Kuatoans? What if that's what's making everyone paranoid? That's a powerful entity.
Oh.
And we haven't found a trace of it since Davian's notes anywhere.
I'd completely forgotten about it.
Oh my.
It's terrifying.
He mentioned that he saw an aboleth, and then the Kuatoans had no idea. The Deep Gnomes had no idea, and I thought that was peculiar considering how famed I read about them as a child.
Oh, I think you've just hit the nail on the head there, Bart.
Do we confirm it with the head? Do we confirm that does it know?
Maybe the aboleth has a way of erasing memories as well. Maybe this Behir doesn't know if we were to ask it if it knows. Does that make sense?
I don't even know too much about aboleths, to be honest.
I mean, as a possible devil's advocate kind of point, from what we've seen of the myconids, they can also seem to sort of control feelings and directions. So it very much could be the myconids on their team could
Do you want to make a nature check, Lyra?
The ones causing the paranoia.
You spent a lot of time with the myconids. Do you want to make a nature
check?
See what you can kind of figure out. See what you know about their spores. 11.
Like, I'm thinking about like rapport spores and stuff.
Rapport spores allow you to communicate. Yeah, absolutely. The rapport spores allow creatures within the spores range to telepathically communicate. And you know that the myconids would definitely have more spores. The extent to which these spores could influence another creature, given that the rapport spores just in the air are enough to open up telepathic channels, Lyra, that's a really solid hypothesis. There could be other spores being grown, being produced that could do similar things. And that wouldn't require you to be close to the creature, because the spores could just be distributed, sprinkled.
They've already given us some spores. We know that it's possible.
It's possible to transport the spores.
During like the funeral and stuff, and the hope when they got hope back afterwards,
you
that
felt
was a very
that emotion.
contagious. Yeah, so it's definitely possible.
Well, we have one more question. And I'm not sure if we should push harder on this line of questioning, or I glance over at Threign at this point, or perhaps we should ask it about Amar. That's a good question as well. I don't know.
Well, it'd be interesting. It might not know, but it could. And that I would be very interested in knowing.
I feel like we come down to three important questions. I feel like the races in inciting a rebellion. We'll find that out when we see them.
Agreed. Yes.
I feel like it is either is Anam dead, which is a long shot but very important.
No, but don't even need to ask that question because he's definitely not dead.
That's true.
How do the heartstones work? Because we haven't managed to make a breakthrough with that a single time.
Also a bit of a long shot, but worth a shot, yes.
If either of those get answered, it would be a monumental moment. Or something more simplistic but important. How many more Behirs are there? I feel like it's one of those three, and we need to vote.
Well, I don't think there'd be any more Behirs, otherwise it would have said that there was creatures still allied with them. It didn't mention any.
That's my problem, though. I'm thinking about it, and we asked about the Duergar's allies, not the Stone Giants' allies.
What about, are there any allies of the United Stone Giants and Duergar that we need to be extremely cautious of? I mean, maybe it'll tell us, oh, there's 5 more Behirs and an Aboleth, or... You know?
I don't think we need to ask the question for the Behirs. If more pop up, pleasant surprise for me, perfect.
We did take this one out pretty quickly with a good plan. And now that we have that plan, we just need to rinse and repeat.
That was a good, solid plan. I don't know how we would go up against more, but I like your enthusiasm.
And personally, I have no issue. I don't really want to ask about the Nam because bit of a weird question to ask when he is live and well.
Oh, of course.
Well, I guess the next time we come across Behir, we don't even need to worry about fighting it because Threin's going to handle it single-handedly, aren't you?
Well, here's the thing.
Very true, very true.
If we do fight another Behir in combat, we can just cast Speak with the Dead on that one, and we can have ask it questions. So it's a win-win.
I feel like with Threign...
I mean, is there anything you would like to ask Bart about maybe a Scythian fort?
Whoa.
Is there something? I'm not sure.
The way that it answered the question about the Stone Giants changing, I feel like it doesn't know much. It even mentioned the Duergar simply as race, not by name. They met a single Duergar who changed them. I'm 90% certain that is him. He's the main Duergar of importance in this region. I don't want to be selfish with this question. I feel like we have discussed, and it's the heartstones. How do the heartstones work? And we just shoot in the dark.
I think that's a wise choice.
And I hope this thing was old enough to know.
Okay, I'll turn to everyone and say, I can ask about how the heartstones work. Everyone...
Harry, you haven't mentioned anything, just your input as well?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with the line of things. You guys seem to understand all this history stuff better than little me. So.
I give Harry a bit of a sly glance. I'm like, oh, you don't want to know where it keeps all of its loot?
Yeah, no, the fun about treasure is hunting for it.
Oh, Harry, to save us asking this question, did you want to quickly try asking your friend?
Oh, that's a good point, actually.
It could answer this.
How do the heartstones work?
Yeah, if it responds to you. You said you've talked to it before, right? In the big black ocean?
It did have some sort of effect with the heartstone.
Yeah. Last time he could speak to the others as well. He spoke through me, I think. Harry squints really hard, like he's focusing or taking a poop. And he's like, Figment, Mr. Figment, you there, sir?
Harry, could you please roll me a charisma check, please, to see if you can coax Figment into speaking to you?
Riz up your
little bunny.
As you consult your patron.
That's not a saving throw, is it?
Just a charisma check.
I know how to, like a persuasion
check.
You could do it as you could do it as a persuasion check if you like, and we'll just because I'm guessing your persuasion is
my persuasion's +7
because that would have the proficiency and expertise. Yeah. So it would.
Oh right, of course, yeah. So just roll it as
I think my +4, so we just take 3 from whatever I roll.
3, so 11.
That's easy. 14.
Mr. Figment, sir?
-3 takes it down to 11.
Oh.
Harry, as you concentrate and focus, you watch as your crystal blinks for a moment, taking on that brilliant emerald green color that it has before. As it does so, anyone with a passive perception of 14 or higher notices Bartholomew's crystal flicker green for a brief second.
What the fuck?
And Bartholomew touched Harry's crystal. I don't know if you remember back in the tower.
I've been infected. Fuck you.
Back in the
What
tower.
have you done to me? You've given me space AIDS.
And you also watch as underneath the scales of the Behir on its forehead for a brief moment, you see a red light flicker just for a moment.
What?
Oh shit.
Oh fuck.
Lyra is immediately pointing this out to Harry, the most dexterous.
Did you guys see it?
Yeah.
After we're finishing the question, we should dig that out, eh?
100%. I already wanted to see if this thing had loot in its belly, but...
Well, I mean...
Fuck.
We should ask that question still. It obviously knows how it works. It's got it in its head.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes, you're right. I didn't even consider that. If it has one...
What happens if it was put there without its knowledge?
Then we'll find it out.
What do you know about the heartstones? But then it could just tell us that it's connecting to the past. I feel like we need to know how they work and just still chance it.
How are they... If you be ambiguous, you can maybe ask, how are they controlling you and the giants?
Oh.
But we don't want to know about how they're controlling it. We also need to know how to use them ourselves, right?
Good point. I think your question's, yeah.
Or at least how to stop the control of the giants. Because once we stop that, I'm sure we'll gain a very powerful ally.
That's true. But I think that works in one with how do they work. Because if we know how they work, then we also know how to turn them off.
Well, what is this going to be?
I am voting. I still think asking how they work is the most straightforward way.
Let's do that.
As well.
I'll nod and turn to the head and say, how do the heartstones work?
The stones connect us all.
And you watch as the magic fades, the eyes go dark, the green light of Speak with Dead fades, and you watch as the head goes back to being an inanimate corpse again.
Harry's there with a knife ready to dig in.
Knowledge is stored in the crystal.
Harry, you've had a great run with crystals so far, especially with that knife. As you pull out the knife from your belt, just jab into the head, pull down.
Did you get like the crystal?
He's thinking about it. He's thinking his actions through. This is a real twist on Harry's character right here.
As Harry is doing this, yeah. I kind of like, Niles just shakes his head a little bit and goes, I think you might, I've seen you looking around, looking at things. I think maybe you might be better off with these than I. And I will hand him the Eyes of Minute Seeing. I'm going to give that to Harry.
What do they do?
Oh, they're actually dope for you, Harry.
They're really good for you, Harry.
They're really good for you, Harry.
Eyes of Minute Seeing.
Eyes of Minute Seeing. I can add it to your character sheet if you need a hand, but I'll quickly tell you what they do. I don't know if it's Eyes of Minute Seeing or Eyes of Minute Seeing. It might be Eyes of Minute Seeing.
It sounds like microscopes attached to glasses or something like that, right?
Basically, they'll give you an advantage on your investigation checks, which you seem to be doing a lot of. So I will
perception as well, or just investigation?
Just all investigation checks that rely on sight.
Okay, cool.
I know. I was pretty confident they were minute seeing as well. Chat. I don't mind Eyes of Minute Seeing either. Those like time slows down around you. Like what are those goggles in Harry Potter that they use at the Quidditch World Cup? Never mind. Not important.
I definitely read it wrong on my character sheet.
Harry, would you like to roll me an investigation check with advantage, please, my friend? If that's what you're doing.
Sure.
Otherwise, if you're...
Investigation's only +2.
That's okay. If you just wanted to go straight in and start cutting it out, you don't need to take a moment to pause and check things first. You can just go in with the knife.
What's the point of this?
12. 8 and 12. We'll take the 12.
Did that roll twice? Okay.
Harry, you can see the gap between the scales. The Behir scales, as we discussed before, are much more like snakeskin. Rather than the overlapping plates like dragon scale, the scales almost have like a membranous connective tissue between them. And as you get your knife out, you can trace along the edge of this. And you know that you'll be able to cut through this if you just trace the edge of the scales and follow through. The scales themselves are very hard to cut, but if you can cut between them, you'll be able to peel back the skin and see what's below.
Yeah, yep. Harry uses it like a pry bar and cuts around and then pries it off.
I would love a sleight of hand check, please, Harry.
That's something Harry's a bit better at.
I was going to say this. No, that's an 11.
I am rolling
Dave,
terribly
your
tonight.
rolls
That's an
tonight
11.
are atrocious, mate.
Yeah, I haven't rolled over a nat 10, I think. That's all right.
Dave, I'm so sorry. As you get the knife out, it's tough to cut through. The connective tissue is dense. The musculature underneath is really, really tough to cut through, even with your very special knife. And as you dig away and start cutting through these scales, you feel your blade knock something hard, something almost, like this hard, almost metallic thing inside the flesh of this creature. Bumps into it. Yeah, you can help Howie. You can help Howie. Would you like to?
As you're trying to like cut through it, you just see this big taloned hand like reach down. I'm like, oh, it looks like you might need a bit of assistance here, Harry. Here, let this deft hand try and carve this for you.
As you, Patrick Swayze ghost him.
Yeah.
Carve
Look
through.
at it like this.
Let's go.
Your wings gently spooning his back. Could I please have a sleight of hand check, Niles?
Oh, fuck yeah.
As you assist Harry.
Our other Dex character.
The nat 20, baby.
It's not. It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Natural 20. Harry and Niles. As together you trace the outline of the scales. Niles, your incredibly perceptive Owlin eyes, allowing you to identify easy points to cut through. And as you help to guide Harry's hand, you slice away.
It's pretty dark.
It's pretty dark. As you slice away a chunk down the forehead and peel the scales back, you can see what looks at first like this mass of shiny red metal sitting in the very center of the flesh. And as you begin to dig it out, you realize this is almost like a housing unit. There's these bands of metal reaching up over the edge of a crystal, red in color, stained by the blood of the flesh inside this thing. And as you try to pull, the metal shaft goes deep into the skull, penetrating through. But it's not been cut through. You can see the bone underneath has formed perfectly around this. And Niles, as you with a natural 20 carefully dissect around and move the flesh away, moving it aside, cleaning it off as you go, you can see this metal housing unit. It's embedded into the skull. It's been there for as long as this creature has been alive. And you can see tendrils, like almost these wires, melding with the grey matter of this Behir's brain.
I just had this revelation as this is happening.
Yeah.
So like, Niles reflects back to the clockwork creatures that we encountered and thinking like, wow, they were pretty scary. This is like the next level up. Oh, Niles is like, whoa, this is like the clockwork creatures except more advanced.
Yeah.
Harry makes sure not to touch it with his green greenstone arm.
Do you, Harry?
He makes sure not to.
Okay. Why?
Not to.
Why, Harry?
I mean, I just noticed that I might have infected Bart with some sort of.
What could you have infected Bart with apart from your friend and your patron Figment, who's only ever really tried to look out for you, saved you when you've been in trouble? I'm speaking as your subconscious here, Barry.
I don't want to share him. He's all mine.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
But no, until Harry knows what's going on, because he didn't like that there was green in someone else's.
It was not the brilliant emerald green that you see in your Hearthstone, Harry. It was just a flash of this like light pale green, almost as if like almost aqua, right? Because all of your Hearthstones in your hands glow with this very soft blue glow whenever they're activated. This almost looked like an aqua green.
Until Harry knows, because Harry doesn't want to hurt his friends. That's like Harry. Harry has a heart of gold. He's loyal to his friends. So until he knows what's going on, he's not going to risk it.
No, that's very, very good justification. I just wanted to understand Harry's thoughts, because the last conversation you had with Figment sounded like you two were pretty happy to go ahead and do whatever.
We're here to have a good time and fun, but
Okay.
That's what you want to hear as a warlock speaking about his patron. Yeah, we're here for a good time, man. We're here for fun. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we pull that out. Yep.
Cool. How big is this? Like, obviously in relation to the Behir, it must be quite large, right?
It's actually surprisingly small. The Behir's head is obviously massive. It's as big as you are, Niles.
Oh, yeah.
But this entire the gemstone looks like it's only about the size of what would it be similar to? Maybe about the size of a mandarin, and the housing around it. Imagine like a clawed hand around the mandarin. The shaft goes about sort of 10 centimeters into the skull, and you can see that it almost looks like the bone around the skull has flowed like liquid around this, has grown around it. You can see where the growth plates have fused into this metal shaft. This was here from the moment this creature was growing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That final question. The stone connects us all. I had a bit of time to deliberate, and I feel like that could point in a couple of directions. I know it's vague, but we know that there's the dreams, so maybe it just connects us all through dreams, past generations. But what doesn't make sense is Threign is a relative of giants, but we aren't, so it's not connecting us to ancestors. We saw the plaque with the Kuatoans of giants holding up their hands and these stones to the sky, stopping Hadar. Maybe they have control over space and time. We know that their technology was advanced. Maybe these things are so powerful they're holding Hadar at bay, and you'd be connected to everyone all at once if you had time travel, because it's vague, but technically you'd be connected to everyone at once. Another option I feel like might be communication, something basic, but we've sort of seen the sending stones with the Dark Elves, or similar to the Myconid-like power, connecting everyone.
Could be all of the above.
Possibly it's a powerful technology, ancient, maybe it has multiple of these facets. I would like to, I did attempt this once before, but I haven't tried it since, of using the gem, or using the stone, the heartstone. And the last time I tried using it, I was trying to do actually this exact same thing. I was trying to connect with Lyra, because she was the first one that we both bumped into each other, and they sort of magnetized. I got sort of quick, jealous boyfriend paranoid about Satine, and like pushed away. But now that I have an idea of communication, I'd like to do that sort of third, like C basis of trying to use this to, like the sending stone, communicate with Lyra, connect us.
Alrighty.
So see if I can use it to send a message like I've already experienced with the sending stones.
Are you gonna like try and do it like remotely, or are you gonna try?
Yeah, I don't want to touch them together. Because it wouldn't make sense. Like, why would they need to? Like, there's no point in them having these stones if they need to touch hands. They could just talk to each other in giants.
Very true. But as you reach out, closing your eyes, reaching forward with your mind to the strange fragment of metal and crystal embedded into your hand, merging with your very flesh, as you feel the cold edges of it with your mind tracing down your arm across your clawed hand, could I please get you to make me a wisdom check, please?
Not something else?
It's a wisdom. It's a wisdom check. Sorry.
Okay.
This one's a bit different. What you're doing. 9.
That's a 9.
As you reach out and try and link with the stone, you sense something there. Almost like your mind tracing around the edges of a sword, like you would occasionally bring your fingers to itch at something that feels odd or different about your skin. Your mind does the same thing, reaching around, touching the edge of this consciousness, this presence within the stone, but you feel no response. No light, no warmth. Quiet.
Feeling I don't understand this and it might not be my forte. I can't get it to work. Could all of you try communicating a message to Lyra, and Lyra, could you try communicating to one of the group? But Lyra, don't communicate to Harry, and Harry, you stay out of this for now, please. I don't want you to organize some sort of...
I was going to try and focus on the green on yours.
Yeah, no, thank you. And if this does work, we may accidentally infect everyone in one fell swoop. So maybe let's just hold you off for now. But I feel like we haven't, since I got mine, I haven't even thought about it, given it a second thought, and we've sort of just been letting it happen haphazardly, not trying to ever force it to occur.
Well, whenever we've had experiences with the heartstone, it's usually been when we've been asleep, so not usually when we're conscious. So I can give it a go.
That's the thing. Like, have any of you tried?
Not really.
Lyra might try reaching out to Niles, because I think out of all the PCs currently with us, I think they've had the most time in the dream realm together as well. Like, do a synchronization.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do the same. I'll try and send a message to Lyra.
Yeah.
So just a wisdom check?
Wisdom check, please, Niles.
Oh.
Wisdom.
What the 10?
Niles, as you reach out, again you feel nothing, just the coldness from the gemstone. You know the mind that resides in there. You know the memories that you've relived. Sindaris, the storm giant. But for now, Sindaris is quiet. No voice echoes from inside the stone.
Seeing the frustration across both of your faces, Ember, Threign, both of you have lineage to the stone, to giant heritage. Could you both give it a try?
I'm happy to give it a try.
I can do this. Let's give it a go.
Threign and Ember, wisdom checks, please. 20 from Ember. Watch Threign also get like an incredibly high number too.
I would really love for Threign to get a nat 20 here.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Giant heritage.
That'd be so sick.
So, Owen, sorry, what was that?
Wisdom check, please.
Just just like a flat one?
Flat wisdom.
Okay.
Ember.
Alright, I'm just going to roll d20 in the log.
Unnatural 20, I should say. So yeah, 17. Plus 3.
I got a 19.
19.
So that's plus 1, so it is 20.
It's 20 as well. You both got unnatural 20s. As the two ancestors of the giants, the remaining, the remnants of the proud giant race, as you both reach in, concentrating on your stones, you immediately feel the minds that reside within there almost meld and merge with your own for a second. Ember, yours with Eldir, the fire giant. Crassus, obviously, with Ulfric, your ancestor. I said Crassus, but I meant Threign.
Yeah.
Why did I say Crassus?
Because Crassus was...
That was your past character, yeah. And we were talking about Crassus earlier.
We were talking about Molly, yeah.
Yeah, Threign, as you connect with Ulfric, your ancestor, and as you feel these minds merge with your own, and then separate again, you immediately feel two things. One, the presence of each other. You can indeed sense the presence of both of you with the stones active at the same time. But there's a third presence, currently in the hands of Niles, holding the gemstone in the casing. You feel almost like a void residing within. There's nothing within this gemstone, no mind, no presence. But you feel it yearning for something. Commands. And that is where we're going to wrap up for tonight.
Oh,
very nice.
We can command the Behirs too, maybe?
Whoa.
Well, hold on. Not so much that we can control the Behirs, is that we can send commands to this particular stone.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So we can put it in anyone we want.
It could be other things that have the stone correct.
It's pretty big, and like you can see these thin, like tendrils of metal that are perfectly melded with its mirror cortex. It's going to be very hard to like put this in someone else, Threign. You would immediately look at this and be like, this is going to be hard to put in. but if you were to come across other creatures that had this and you were able to call upon your giant echoes, you might be able to influence other creatures with that.
I do know who would really like this.
That's cool.
As an NPC would.
Yeah.
Would like this piece of tech. Definitely our six-legged insectoid friend from the elemental plane, from the elemental city, the flesh sculptor. He'd be really into this.
Trying to remember his name. What was his name again?
It was a Krieg.
Krizit, I think it was. Krizikt. Yeah. Krizikt.
It had an apostrophe.
Yeah, Krizikt. I remember it just because it was, I think that was the most fun voice I've had as a DM. Because I sort of had this like unnatural like click as I was doing it for the man. It was like,
Sam put requested.
such a fun voice. Fucking
What
love
a
that
cool
voice.
NPC.
It made Matt so uncomfortable, which made me very happy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Loved it.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. That is all we have for you tonight from our Return of the Giants campaign, but we will be back next week to unravel the mysteries of the Heartstones and how the Giants, what they've been up to. So thank you so much for joining us. All of those watching us on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We are going to go and raid one of our other lovely friends of the channel. I'll have a quick look and see who's up and online, who we can go and spread some love to. But for those of you watching on YouTube and and listening to the podcast, you know the drill. Hit that subscribe button, the thumbs up button, leave a comment. All of that stuff helps us out. The YouTube algorithm's not particularly friendly, but you can tame it and bend it to your will, just as our players might now be able to tame and bend a Behir to their will. While they have to use Heartstones, you can just use your keyboard. Super easy. Keyboard and mouse is all you need. So thank you so much, everybody. Stay safe, stay well. I think let's go and raid. Wise Acre are running a. Just read the title. Let's go and raid Fat 90s Guy, who are doing an episode 1, and they're only a minute and a half in. So let's go and give them some love. We'll go and raid them. So for all of us here tonight, thank you so much. Stay safe and stay well, and we will see you super, super soon. But until then, farewell, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Farewell.
Thank you.